Ben Close from Twitter asks, "Hi, I have a question about the new GAC. Where are you gonna make it?" Right here? Let's make it right here.
Greg answers questions if you've got questions. Greg answers questions for you. Greg answers questions if you've got questions. Greg answers questions for you.
Whee! Hello, friendly friends. Welcome to Greg Answers Questions. Guess what these are? These are questions. Guess who I am? I'm your old pal Greg. And I do mean old. Yes, that is. I am getting older, and that is the truth. And you know, I got to tell you something about getting older. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. You know why, friends? Because as you get older, you just kind of get happier. I got to be honest with you. Like, everything just sort of evens out, and you realize, hey, you know what? Life is okay. Everything's going to be all right. And you just don't kind of sweat the small stuff. Like, when I was younger, I was in my teens and 20s, and I was just getting out here in LA, and everything was kind of a big deal. Now nothing's a big deal anymore. It's all just fine. And I am 67 years old. No, I'm not. I'm in my 40s. I'm getting in my late 40s now. I want to do a special episode of questions. This is almost exclusively questions from my Patreon patrons at patreon.com/mediocrefilms. Thank you guys for supporting me. I like to do some extra things that I don't even say I'm going to do for my Patreon patrons. Just some, like I did a video where I just shouted out a bunch of their names and like to strangers. Jeff Miller, my man. All right. Yeah. Excuse me, do you guys know Gary Berman or Gil Agmon?
No.
You know these guys? James Panto. What's happening, my man?
How's it going?
Good. We got Rory Sinclair, Nick Kenzer, and Mike Bukowski coming over pretty soon.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right on. I'll see you then. Okay, bye-bye. This is easy. That was a lot of fun. I did that, and you know, just recently I realized there are a whole lot of people who have been with me on Patreon for 6 months or a year, and they've just over time have really like donated sometimes more than $25-30, and so I've said, you know what, anybody who's donated more than $25 or $30, I went ahead and sent them my album for free. I've got a comedy music album. Sent it to them for free. Even if they weren't at the level where they technically got that, they've been with me for long enough. I figured they deserved it. So thank you, everyone who has supported me on Patreon, and everyone who just watches my videos. Whether you can support me or not, I love you guys, and that is sincere. I want to show you one thing. This is a little gift I got recently from my buddy Jehu Garcia. If you guys don't know who Jehu is, he is actually a very talented vlogger here on YouTube. Check out his channel. He's actually really good at speaking to the camera. Some people are good, some people are not. He's really good at it. But also, he for years has created products, and he has finally created something that is a replacement for that Joby little mini tripod that everybody seems to use, especially vloggers. That, like, you put a DSLR on that tripod and it just goes and just sort of falls apart, which is really a shame. But this one is actually super strong. He has created a Kickstarter for it. That's why I'm telling you guys about it. This is called the BendyPod. It comes in a 7-inch or a 10-inch version, and he has like 5 days left on his Kickstarter, and I believe he's at 39,000 out of 60,000 he's trying to raise. So I want to help get the word out. I would love to see this Kickstarter go through, because this is an incredible little tripod that holds up to so much weight, and it bends in any way that you want it, and you can wrap it around stuff, and it's just solid, and it has a really nice little ball on the top, and it's just, I highly recommend this. Okay, enough said about that. Thank you, Jehu, for sending me that. He's an awesome guy too, just as a side note. Now let's get on to your questions. Joanna Fairbrother, I like that name. Thank you, Joanna, for asking a question. How is little Charlie doing? She asks. Well, I appreciate actually so many of you have asked about Charlie. We're going to get to Charlie. So just for you, Joanna, I have asked him, and this is the conversation that we had. Ba 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 ba. Ba ba ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, ba, ba? Oh, I beg your pardon. I thought you said a ba, ba. Jeff Miller asks, as a parent, do you find that your life is now different than it was before you had children, or exactly the same? Well, Jeff, it's an excellent question. I find it's actually very different. Before I had a child, I used to be able to just sit outside in the afternoon and have like a nice lunch, like have like a bowl of pasta in my lap, and just kind of sit there and just not really have to worry about anything. And now I sit outside and I have like a bowl of pasta in my lap right there, and it's delicious. But now I have to look over at this monitor. There's our boy. I have to watch him sleep. So he's sleeping, and I just have to make sure that he's okay. So that's really how it's different now. No, of course it's different. It's very different. It's amazing, and it just requires a lot of attention and, of course, love, which is a pleasure to give. And you have to make sure that the dog is also taken care of and not neglected. Says he sits out there in the lawn amongst all the fallen figs and piles of his own poop. That's delightful. Krista DeBartolomeo, hello Krista, asks, what's the best and worst part about having a newborn? My son Charlie's 7 months old. As of yesterday, he turned 7 months old. And I will tell you, Krista, he makes me laugh all the time. Kim and I are constantly laughing at things that he does. He's just, when you love a little tiny person, he just does things that are funny. He also makes us kind of want to cry because we're so touched by him. Or sometimes, like when he gets upset, you get so sad. So really, all together at the same time, that's the best and worst. Like feeding him, for instance, can be the best and worst all at the same time. Here's what I mean. I love that. It's sad and sweet and hilarious. Okay, Mel Castro, hello Mel, asks, did you make a video about the new baby? If not, you will because he looks delicious. Well, there's several videos. I've just showed you a couple of them. But speaking of him being delicious, you stay away from my baby. You cannot eat my son. I just want to clarify that for anyone. No one can eat my son. And that's final. I'm not bending on that rule. This is a tough name, and I apologize if I get this. I'm going to say this is pronounced Sinja Fenoy. Sinja Fenoy. And O/E. I think that basically the O/, that character doesn't show up correctly. So Sinja or Sindra asks, does your son get along with baby Cookie? I have no idea. They've actually never spoken. Maybe it's time that they have a little conversation. Phil, everybody loves a guy named Phil. Phil asks, a lot of people seem to want to know about Charlie, which is great, but how are Kim and Buddy doing? That is an excellent question, Phil. Let's go see how they're doing. All right, let's just see where they are. I think they're in the kitchen. Wait a minute. Oh, it's nap time. Okay, they're just taking their kitchen floor nap like they do. Okay, that's what they do. That was fun. Did you guys have a good time? That was fun. Krista DeBartolomeo again. I love you, Krista. You've been a fan and a viewer subscriber for so many years. You get 2 questions. You said, what's your favorite Beatles album? Mine is Revolver. That's what she says. Revolver is an awesome choice. I don't know if I can beat that. Can I go with 3 favorites? Because the ones that I go back and listen to all the time are Rubber Soul, Revolver, and Abbey Road. Those are the 3 that I listen to over and over and over and over. But, you also got to say, Sgt. Pepper is a great album. But even like Help is a great album. There are a lot of great Beatles albums. Just to pick something different than you, I will just settle on Rubber Soul. I'm sorry, I love the Beatles, and I apologize to my friend Hugh Berkson, who doesn't like the Beatles. It's my only friend who does not like the Beatles. His son turned 13, had a bar mitzvah. I'm like, you know what? I'm sending your son something. I sent him a Beatles, like the #1 hits collection. I said, here's something your father will never give you. Guess what? His son loves it. Sorry, Hugh. You gotta expose your kids to the Beatles. That's where music begins, in my opinion. Okay, let's move on. Brian Thompson. Hello, Brian. My favorite troll from, and he's literally a troll king. He looks like this. From Atlanta, Georgia. Brian asks, what is your favorite song on the smash hit album, The Genesis of Greg Benson? That's my comedy music album, folks. That's the album where I created a bunch of brand new songs using the names of Genesis song titles. You know the band Genesis? They had some crazy song titles. So really, for no reason, I just use those titles to create brand new songs. There are a lot of songs I like on that album. I'm going to say this is a favorite.
One for the bride and one for the family. One for the bride and one for the family. One for the bride and one for the family. One for the bride and one for the family. One for the bride and one for the family.
And this one.
I loved you from the moment I saw you, but I got to see your other side. 'Cause when your lower intestines are all over the floor, your heart is wide open and there's no place to hide.
And this one.
You're so lame, I have to call you. You smell bad and no one likes you. You got dumb shoes and you're not cool. You suck. Go yourself.
And I just have to say that while I'm recording this video, I have no idea in post-production, in editing, what songs I'm going to put in. But I like those songs. Okay, Elliot Holland. Hello, Elliot. Nice to see you. Asks, what is your favorite video on YouTube by someone else? Well, my answer in the past has always been that the best video on YouTube is goat yelling like a man. I love that video. But now, when it comes down to it, I love that. I love a lot of the like shredding videos. Bad lip reading always makes me laugh. There's one that just came out this morning that's about the Democratic National Convention. It kills me.
F this, oh baby, yeah, hey baby,
Oh my god, I love bad lip reading. Video creators ask, what's the story of how you got started on YouTube? That's a long story. I'm going to try to sum it up for you, video creators. I'm guessing that you create videos. Back in 2004, I decided to start shooting short films. And I shot a film called The Date. And I sent it off to film festivals, and it did really well. And then I'm like, I got to put this online where people can see it. So I created MediocreFilms.com. I started putting up that and a couple other videos that I shot as QuickTime videos. And for some reason, people started coming to the website and watching my short films. And I ran out of space. I ran out of like usage or whatever they call it every month. So around the 14th or 15th of each month, my website would sort of automatically shut down because I had exceeded the data limits. So then my wife said, why don't you put the videos on MySpace? Around 2005, that's where people were watching videos. So I put them on MySpace, and they started to go viral. They all of a sudden were being featured on the front page of MySpace. I had videos, things like Phone Call to God and Greg Hits Hollywood, and things that I would shoot around 2005, 2006 that were just sort of starting to go viral. And then YouTube launched in 05, and around 06, Kim, once again, my wife, she's the one. I owe her everything. She said, you got to put the videos on YouTube. So I did, and then within the first month, YouTube featured Greg Hits Hollywood, where I hit people in the face with a microphone. On the front page, it got like 800 or 900,000 views. And back in late 2006, that was insane. Like, videos that just didn't happen. Because a video would be featured on the front page and would stay there for several days in this list, and it would just keep getting views. And then that got me my first like 10,000 subscribers, and it just sort of built from there. Like a few months later, we started to shoot the show Gorgeous Tiny Chicken Machine Show, which is a comedy show which was a spoof of Japanese talk show / game shows, and it starred my wife Kim. She created it, she wrote it, I directed it and edited it, and we put that up, and YouTube featured that on the front page, and it just kept going. So that's kind of how it started. And then I went from like doing short films to doing like series like Gorgeous Tiny and Retarded Policeman and Celebrity Sock Puppet Theater and Gay Leprechaun. I did all these different series. And then I would throw in a prank every once in a while because I love going out and shooting pranks. And then the pranks became more popular than the series. So then I just focused on pranks. And now, who knows what's next? I love doing man on the street stuff. You guys have probably noticed. I go out on the street and I interview a lot of people because I really love doing that with cosplayers and people in front of like the Chinese theater and on the beach. And that's really fun. And I don't really know what's next. Something's next. So something's next. That's my story. That's how I got started on YouTube. Hope you enjoyed that. Kind of interesting, but definitely lengthy story. Okay, Josh Dono. Dono? I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm okay. Josh says, throughout your entire career, what was your favorite project you've ever worked on, be it one of your own projects or one that you were hired to be a part of? Well, Josh, I started off in LA as an actor in the early 90s. I moved out here from Texas and I just became an actor. And I was already an actor, but I became a professional actor officially in LA. And the first movie I did was this movie called Ghost Ship, which was so ridiculous. That's definitely not one of my favorites. But I got to be funny for the first time in a movie. That was a thrill. But I think if I had to pick a favorite project, it's not a funny project. It's a movie I was hired to be in, which was all about Flight 93, United Flight 93, on 9/11, that went down in the field. And it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, was to be one of the real life heroes on that plane who kept that plane from crashing into the White House or wherever it was going. And it was that was a pretty remarkable experience. Very difficult, not funny, but I'm probably more proud of that movie than anything that I've done. We have a few more questions, folks. Elliot Squash asks, who's the cutest dog in the whole wide world? Well, come on. Obviously, it's Mr. Winkle. It's definitely Mr. Winkle. No, it's not Mr. Winkle. It's Da Buddy. It's my dog, Da Buddy. Brian Thompson once again asks, who's a good boy? It's also Da Buddy. Jennifer Hunter, hi Jennifer, asks, will you be going on the Joko cruise in 2017? She says, I will. And you know what, Jennifer? I will too. It is my plan to go with Kim and Charlie. Probably not Buddy. You don't really take a dog with you. But Kim and Charlie and I are going to go on the Joko cruise in 2017, barring any unusual whatever. I mean, we're planning on being there because I love going on that cruise. And this year, well, next year in 2017, for the first time, they have got the whole ship, not just half the ship. Like everybody on that ship is going to be part of the Joko cruise, and it goes out of San Diego instead of out of Florida, so it's easier for us to get to. And it's like a week long or 6 days long or something like that, but it's going to be fun. Come and join me, and let's have some fun. Let's shoot videos on the cruise. Let's see comedy and music performances. I love going on that thing. I can't say enough about it. You guys have probably seen the vlogs I've done, and I'll do them again next year because I have so much fun. All right, Ben Close, who had the first question in this video, also asks, I'm only going to ask this one more time, and then I did not copy the question that he asked, so sorry about that, Ben. Finally, I'm just messing with you, Ben, because you've asked that same question a few times. I'm not going to answer it. Not because I have anything against that question. I just don't have a good answer for it. Michael Atzma, I grew up with Atzma, asks, if you could get a pizza named after yourself, what would be on it? That's a ridiculous question, Michael. That's why I'm going to answer it. If there's like the Greg Benson pizza, just to be silly, I'd have a pizza with cheeseburgers and french fries on it. And then I went to my Facebook page, facebook.com/mediocrefilms. Come join me there if you like. And I asked my Facebook fans, my followers, if anybody would Photoshop a pizza with cheeseburgers and fries on it. And like 4 or 5 people did. And this is what the pizzas look like. We got some that look fake, some that look funny, some that look realistic, one with a bonus salad. Thank you for those guys. Those are... all I have to do is just say, hey, listen, can you guys send me some pizzas, and then you do. Oh, I missed you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I missed you guys. I have missed you. It's a pleasure to talk to you on this thing. I feel, even though I'm just talking to the camera, I feel like you guys are right there, and I get to connect with you guys. So I'm sorry that it takes me so long sometimes to do Greg Answers Questions. And even though there aren't a whole lot of crazy clips in this one, I just wanted to get this out there to you guys to just say hello and thank you for watching. Oh, and I just realized that since I'm doing this in my office and not on the... there's no sailboat this time. Oh no. What are we gonna do about that? Nothing! There's no sailboat this time. We're doing nothing about it. Thanks for watching, folks. There'll be a sailboat next time. I just wanted to make a video. I forgot the sailboat. It's actually in that closet right behind me. There's a sailboat there somewhere, but you can't really see it, so it doesn't count. Alright, I'm going to stop talking. This video has been long enough. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all health and happiness, and I hope you're having a great 2016. And I will see you guys very soon. Goodbye!